Good morning, everyone. Hello. I hope everyone can hear me and see me clearly. Nor, Linda, D, John, Nadia, Ron, Reaver, Black, Sam, it's so good to see you. Frank, hello. RB, what's up? It's good to see you, folks. My name is Voodoo Val, and I'm going to be your host again this morning for the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, and I'm super excited for today. Somebody was asking earlier if I was going to be in costume this morning. Who was that? That was Timothy. Not yet. I would keep that a secret that I had planned to, except that I think almost every time I do these daily creative challenges, if they're themed in some way, which we definitely have like a theme for these challenges, I do usually show up at least once in a costume. I can neither confirm nor deny which day left that will be, and I cannot tell you what the costume will be either. I I just I just I'm just gonna say that it probably will happen, and that's all I'm gonna say. All right, that's all. How's everybody doing this morning? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I'm so excited you guys are here. We're going to be jumping into superpowers this morning. And I'm really excited about that because we've done so many things so far for the round of Photoshop challenges that we've been doing pertaining to superheroes and supervillains. We have created iconic articles of clothing for our heroes and villains. We've created emblems. We've created like call signs and tagged them onto walls. We have done so many cool things, creating heroes, compositing heroes, and stuff. But one thing we haven't done is made superpowers, like created cool effects and things to give our superheroes or supervillains an ability of some sort. So that's what we're going to jump into today. I'm going to pop over here to our landing page so that I can go over how you folks can get involved and how to do the challenge for today. So if you go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, you will come to this page and make sure that you are in the August 17th to August 28th challenge range so that you are getting the proper challenges. And you're going to get like a little how does it work spiel up here, which I usually go over basically every day of the challenges, aside from the intro day, which is usually always a Monday. We unlock challenges to you folks at about 8 a.m. Pacific time. And what we have done so far is we've done like a mood board challenge, creating a mood board to kind of prepare us for all of the designing and stuff we were going to be doing for the future challenges. We created an emblem for a superhero or supervillain using shapes and layers. We did a mock-up, like I said, of the iconic clothing. We did the photo compositing. We did a onomatopoeia challenge where we made comic book whams and pows into brushes and patterns, which was really cool. The calling card, like I mentioned, and then obviously today, like I said, is superpower. So it says add superpower effects to any photo using custom textures and distortion filters. And if you'd like to get involved with me today, all you have to do is click on this Get Started button, and it's going to bring you to Dropbox where you can download this pretty nifty image that I've prepared for you. Let me see. I'm going to pop over to Photoshop. I'm just going to kind of dive into what we're doing, and I don't think it's going to take us too long to get into the challenge and get into the meat of what I'm going to show you how to use today. But I would like to leave some time kind of left over after I do that for experimentation, because there's a lot of really cool things that you can do in the filters panel, and I want to make sure I show you one super cool one and then kind of show you how I might go about using other filters as well, just in case our main filter for the day does not really strike your fancy. So, because there's definitely something for everyone in the filters panel. Here but not doing the challenge this time, still getting Photoshop up the way I want. Styles, patterns, brushes, take time to sort and add. Yes, indeed, Sig. Well, I wish you luck. Thank you very much for coming to hang out anyhow. And Chad, it's good to see you. I'm doing excellent today. I'm glad you're here with us. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Sam, for posting the starter file in the chat. One quick reminder before we jump into this, if you're over on YouTube, please head over to behance.net/live, because that is actually where we are reading the chat. In fact, I'm going to click my little button here and I'm going to pull it up. If you go, yeah, here's behance.net/live. And if you arrive here, you will notice you can just click in like so. And there is a chat over here that everybody is hanging out in. And this is where we're putting all of the awesome links and things to all of the resources that I'm talking about and so on. So if you are over on YouTube and you're like, where are these people that Val is greeting and saying hello to? This is the place right here. Among the Avengers, who's the strongest? Sweet baby boy, Captain America. That's that's the only answer for that. I know Thor thinks otherwise, but he's wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the Photoshop, and we are going to jump into this. All right, let me real quick. I want to make sure that there we go. Okay. So this is the challenge number 7 starter file. Your energy today is jumping through the screen. So fun to watch you. I'm having a great day, Ted. I'm glad that it's showing, and I hope that you folks are having a good day too. And if not, I hope that that changes, because we're going to do some pretty cool stuff. So I've prepared this photo for you because I have chosen a super villain power. Okay, and this is where things are gonna get like a little less let's do stuff in Photoshop and a little more use your imagination and make something up that's awesome. Okay, choose a superpower. I want to know what superpowers you guys want to have. Like, if we're gonna all be here designing around villains and heroes, then we gotta discuss this. So I've come up with the power called launch portals, okay? And I'm going to explain this. So I think it would be super cool if, as a hero or villain, in my case, awesome super villain who is very well dressed, I'd like to have the power launch portals, because it would be awesome to be able to open a portal to anywhere I decide at will. There would be drawbacks, of course. Like, if I opened a super large portal and held it open for a very long time, then that would deplete my supervillain energy, of course. But for the most part, I could make like little tiny portals to launch myself through. And the key word in this power is launch, because I do have regular human strength and agility, except when I'm launching through the portal. As soon as I make the conscious decision to jump through one of my portals, I launch like as if by magic. I just dive through a portal. Even if I open it 10 feet above my head, I can just like superhero jump up through the portal and then like appear behind my enemy. And that is what we're going to be illustrating today. We're creating a concept of launch portals, okay? Yeah. This is going to be used for the movie The Ring. Yeah, it could be, Nor. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do this. First of all, I'm going to hide my info for the challenge, and then I'm going to also pull my hand photo out of my folder here. I do have the original artist and everything set actually here. Her name is Kyla Ross, and we have the tag for her as well as the Unsplash link, just in case you folks would like to check out her work. Give her a shout out on Unsplash. And now we're going to kind of jump into how I'm going to make this look super cool. And it's actually not super extra hard to do. So this is a pretty neat picture in and of itself, I think. But what I would like to do is make this portal look as if it is like ethereal in some way. We're going to make it look like it has some kind of wispy, crazy magic coming off the top of it. And it's actually way easier to do than you think. And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to use the render filters. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm selected on my pen tool. And we're going to use the pen tool a little bit differently than I've ever showed being used before, because usually what I do is I make a bunch of shapes, and I start dragging these around, and I come around and I make something weird, and then like I turn it into a shape, and then it's like, ta-da, you have like this strange blob, and we're going to do something with that. We're actually going to use the pen tool today, though, to create paths. And the reason why is because we're going to render some effects according to those paths. So, first of all, what I want to say is, when you make a path for today's challenge, we're going to make separate paths from each other. So what I mean by that is I've made like a curve around made a curve around my little ring here, and then I'm going to hit escape. Because what that allows me to do is create a new path instead of continuing to create one long extended path, which technically you could do, but it would not work very well for the method we're going to be rendering today, because it would take a lot of power for your system in order to render it properly. So I'm going to just start kind of making these little tiny curves around this and hitting escape as I do this. I'm going to do them one at a time, but I just want to kind of demonstrate how we're doing this. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go up here to filter. I'm going to go to render flame. Now, when I render flame, I get this really cool kind of flame pattern around here, and I can change this flame however I want it to be. There's 6 different kind of filters that you can put here. I'm probably going to use one flame along path, but I'm going to cycle through these just to show you folks what you can do. You can do multiple flames along that path. You can do multiple flames that go upward in one direction, and you can actually change like the angle and direction of the flame depending on whatever you're working on, however your power works. If you decide to use this, you can do multiple flames on a directed path, so they kind of like go all over the place. You can do multiple flames at various angles, and you can change like the interval at which they are staggered. The angle, again, you can change like how wide they are, if you want them wider, or if you want like a really, really thin little thing, or you can turn it to candlelight, which is kind of cool. Candlelight is pretty clean, so depending on what you're doing, that may work, but I am going to use one flame along path, and I'm going to make it wider because I like that, and I'm going to say okay. Now it's going to think a little bit here, and then what it does, you can see, is it makes my little flame around here. Now I'm going to go to, I have my paths panel open, which I'm just going to put here right next to my layers path, and I'm going to hit escape just to kind of clear so I'm not selected on a path. Make sure I'm not selected here because I want to make a new path, but I don't want to keep rendering and then rendering multiple paths at once. I want to make sure I'm only selected on the new paths that I create. If you don't see your paths panel, you can go to window and scroll down until you see paths, and it will open for you, and then you can drag that window anywhere you like to suit your workspace needs. So now I'm going to do this a few times, okay? So just bear with me here. I am going to start kind of dragging out little paths like so. I'm going to go up to filter, and if I want to, technically I can just say Control Alt F or hit filter and then hit flame all over again, because like I said yesterday, as soon as you do something in the filters section, it does put a little selection to see your most recent filter application and redo it exactly as you did it just before. So that actually is super helpful. So if I want to continue to create some new paths like so, and then just continue to do this, I can say Control Alt F, and it'll just keep making this cool effect for me, which works. So I'm gonna maybe even put one out here, I think. Oh, actually, I've still got my path selected. You'll know because if I zoom in here, you can see I've got this little path going right here, and I do not want to have that selected, so I'm going to hit escape one last time. I'm also going to save real quick just to make sure I don't get out of the habit of saving regularly, and I'm going to do this maybe 2 or 3 more times. There we go, just kind of get, oop, that one's a little short Maybe I will just put like kind of a long one right here. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see, filter, flame. See how that looks. That's pretty cool. I still had that little one selected up there though, which is my mistake. It does take a little bit of time to kind of get used to using the pen tool regularly, I have to say. Especially as somebody, like, I'm more used to using my brush tool and things like that. And I'm sure that there's some other folks here in the chat who are used to using other things as well. And the pen tool, I know, can be somewhat of a learning curve. Haha, pun. But that's okay. It kind of just takes a little bit of practice. Dropping knowledge. I'm trying, Tara. So now that I have like a bunch of these little pieces, let's see. I am going to, let's see. I think I'm going to leave. I am going to leave that, even though that's over the arm. I know full well. I am going to kind of cut a piece out of that just to kind of give it some depth so that it looks like there's some of that stuff disappearing behind the hand. And I am going, how am I doing on time? Okay, I am going to transform this whole thing because I do want this to be a little bit wider than my ring. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an adjustment layer to this. So first of all, I'm going to open my adjustments panel. And if you don't have your adjustments panel anywhere on your workspace, then all you have to do is go to Window, like I said, go to adjustments, and then it will open that panel for you. And again, you can drag it anywhere you want. I'm going to add a hue and saturation adjustments layer. And I'm going to make sure that before I do any changes, I'm going to convert this to a clipping mask, because if I don't and I start changing stuff, it's going to change everything that is below it. Every single thing that's below it is going to be transformed. But what I only want to change just the layer of flames that I've added, because I don't want them to actually be flames. I want them to be an extension of this weird portal, so I can change the color and make them blend in a little bit more, and I can even double click this and add some outer glow possibly, which would probably be cool. Let's grab some outer glow and let's change this to white. Let's see. And that looks kind of neat. It looks kind of neat, even with the noise. You guys know I'm a big fan of noise. I put noise on things every chance I get. I think it looks neat. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with like my lasso tool by hitting L on the keyboard, and I am going to lasso out this little part on the hand here. I'm just going to say Control C to cut that out so it looks like it's going behind this, and that kind of makes it look like, you know, like this strange portal has opened up, this hand is jutting through. And the last thing that you can add, so some more like kind of filtery fun stuff, the last thing you can add to really make this pop and make it look like it's got some motion and stuff to it, is to add a little bit of motion blur. I love adding motion blur to things because I think that it makes stuff look a little more realistic. So we could do something like this. Let's see, I've selected my hand layer here, and I'm going to select this whole hand, like so, and I'm going to say Control J just to duplicate that little part. So I've got another copy of this hand in a layer just above it. I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur, and then I'm gonna make it look like this hand is kind of blurring and like moving through the portal. So I'm gonna change that angle to be kind of like reaching out, and you can crank this up so that it looks like really motiony, or I don't know if motiony is a word, but I think it's perfect for this for this scenario. I think I'm probably gonna leave it like right there because that's not too bad. I'm gonna say okay. And what I might also do even is extend this arm just a little bit to really make it look like somebody's reaching through here. So if I grab my brush just by hitting B on my keyboard, I can grab one of just the default brushes that come with Photoshop. And I might sample some colors. I'm holding Alt just to sample some colors. And with my brush turned on like a pretty low opacity, I'm just gonna blend some of this arm back out into our portal. See that? Because I do want it to look like, you know, there's more of a body out here. There's something else going on. It's not just, you know, the hand right there at the lip of that ring. I do want it to seem like there's a little more happening here. So I'm just going to extend that just a little bit. We do have a few minutes left, so I actually can, I think, do something else today, which would be cool. Let's see. First of all, I'm gonna turn some of the noise on the outer glow down just a bit. All right, there we go. And I think I may have a pretty cool texture to use in my libraries if I scroll around. I've got like this from a previous DCC that I did. I've got this pretty cool like space thing going on here. And I need to go to my layers because I think that's being messed with by the adjustment layer. There we go. Why is, oh, there we go, because I messed up the clipping mask. So just so everybody knows, because that just kind of messed stuff up there, and if that happens to you, you're probably going to be like, what the heck was that? Why did that do that? So what happened was I put that layer in underneath my clipping mask, and it broke the, let me see if I can actually just go back to how it was. It made my hue and saturation adjustment layer clip to that, so it changed that into white, and then when I moved it up above, it took the clipping mask off of the hue and saturation layer, so it just made everything that was underneath it super white again. So you need to make sure that that clipping mask is reapplied to whatever you want it applied to, and then it'll go back to normal. But I am going to take this texture, I'm going to center it over the central area of my piece here, and I'm going to find a blending mode that I think works well to make this look super cool. I kind of like this, and I'm not sure if that's going to work. What I want to do is add these stars as like a kind of noise, so I'm kind of like experimenting with, oh my gosh, look! So the image is like totally black, but when I put it on the divide layer, you can actually see those things in the image that the photographer probably doesn't know is visible in this. That's so interesting. That scared me. I thought that my Photoshop was haunted for a second. That's actually super funny. That's awesome. Okay, so let's see what I can do. This kind of works. This kind of works. I'm going to say Control T, and I'm going to kind of bump things out like this. But I'm not going to keep this like this. I'm going to open my layers or my levels with Control L, and I'm going to make these even more specific just to get that good noise going on because I like it. There we go. And then I'm going to come in with my eraser brush yet again, and I am going to just kind of click around just to remove some of this because I don't want it to be so intrusive. I just want there to be some interesting texture around. And that's how I would create kind of a concept for an interesting superpower of, what did I say? Launch portals? Launch portals, guys. I think it's the superpower of the future. I think everyone should get on board. We should all just have launch portals as our power and start like a brand new kind of sports league for launch portaling. I think that's kind of creepy. Yeah, it actually was super creepy, but it's kind of neat though. It's pretty interesting, I think. So there we go. I'm kind of looking through chat just to see if I have any questions or anything. Are we going? No, Judith, we're fine. I don't know what is the superpower of Captain America. He's just like super everything. He's super strong, he's super smart, and he's super sweet. He's that's how his power works. But yeah, so that is my challenge. I'm gonna pop over here to my face cam. It is kind of like a Doctor Strange power. It's a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit like Doctor Strange. I thought about that. Ted, Ted, I'm glad you liked my Captain America jokes. Launch Portal Sports Leagues. Yeah, the LPSL. It's gonna be a thing. Just give us like 100 years or so to perfect the art of giving people superpowers specifically for the duration of a sports game. Kind of like the Justice League. Yes. Please use mask, not eraser. I know, Frank, you're absolutely right. I did do some masking in previous challenges, and I know that sometimes when I erase, it drives people nuts. I kind of just did that for the sake of saving time, but yes, you probably should use a mask. And if you don't know how to use mask, check out the previous videos, because I did mask in the previous videos. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you guys. You are wonderful. Thanks for being awesome. Thanks for staying positive. And I will see you later today, actually, for the design off with Kat. So I hope to see you guys in the chat. Stick around for the other designers because I'm not the only one on today. And I will talk to you soon. Adios, folks.